Guys, you'll be surprised to know that this year 2025 times the year has been conferred, it cannot be conferred actually to individuals like hundreds of people, but is conferred to what they call the architects of AI. That means AI influence has been so formidable, so great, it's been so all pervasive that time that through has no choice left except that because too many publications, news articles, interviews, CEOs on the dice, and all the professionals of the world, they all have logged their heads, and they are the change makers, the transformations that the year ahead is going to witness, and 2026. But 2025 was really, a historic moment in the true sense, historic. And it's a historic decision of because when even the AI was asked to react upon as being adjudged or chosen or declared to be the year of the times year, the person of the year. It used to be man of the year, the person of the year. It is that yes, we were all over, and we deserve that because we influenced, we altered the very scene of especially with the ChatGPT's announcement of free for the teachers ChatGPT. So it's mind-boggling to even imagine and conceive of the kind of meteoric rise of the revenues that these companies generated, like Nvidia, which is the bedrock. I mean, it's a support system. In fact, the entire hardware and including software now into AI foundries has been, and it has become a $5 trillion company with its humble beginning of a couple of millions. And then ChatGPT itself is like billions of, and many more billions of tie-ups with many of those. Anthropic is going to be listed. And then also is made with the ringing the bell of New York Exchange, Stock Exchange, with the lady, I mean, the two women. Both of them are women, one in charge of the president and the other one in Times publications. And Time has gone to a collaboration with this AI open source. And I have come across so many contracts and treaties and new, cementing the ties between these huge techies, tech companies. And it's no wonder that the world has invested so heavily. They're almost like trillions of dollars are being pumped into and invested in the infrastructural AI with data center now with the Google already having one in the cloud or in the space missions, and they want it to be cheaper in the sense that it requires a lot of energy on Earth, and it consumes a lot of power. It's a power hungry, like it's a electricity guzzler, and on Earth cannot supply so much of energy for these huge foundries of or data centers which run into miles and which has the capacity to tie up with thousands of GPUs, general processing units. And Google has an advantage; it has an own way of dealing with this GPUs. So they want the whole of its infrastructure to be converted or transported or transferred to the actual cloud in the space with uh, missions where it would be powered from the solar energy. because sunlight is free and it can assure continuous powering of all these heavy data centers, which requires too much of energy, and it's going to keep our Earth a bit cooler in the sense that it won't pollute, it won't heat up, and it won't guzzle up. We don't need to go for newer. I mean, even they were thinking of having nuclear energy sources, but if we could, I mean, they could harness it more naturally in a sustainable form in the space in the above the Earth. And it's not just for today, but also for coming years where we'll be really requiring too many data centers. And it's all about having as much as computing capabilities in each company. So it's a race every company is vying. Google was a bit slow, but it has caught up with now. And Anthropic is going to be a bigger player with its own listing. Then, of course, uh, ChatGPT and open source, they're well into lots of new contracts and going for. I mean, they have raised a lot of money from too many stakeholders and investors, and probably they're not making so much money to begin with at this hour. With only Pro, and so we have 5.2 ChatGPT with Pro, and this kind of subscription-based income is all about they will be harnessed or they will be used up for other reasons like targeted commercial advertising, then agenting, where all the companies will have their own collaborations platforms where we will have larger context windows in web, and now we're restricted with the smaller context windows, and we need to have. So the time will come when and it's coming with loads of agenting and agents with specialized at its own end will decide and will collaborate, and hundreds of them at the same time. It will not only prepare itinerary, it will book tickets for you, it will book the hotels, it will also pay for you on your behalf. I mean, and if you allow, give some permissions to, and they will also chalk out the plans and ifs and buts, and also pros and cons and attractions, and with the feasibility of any project. Or I mean, it's more to do with the business world where it will dive deeper into the efficacy and the potential for raising money, potential for business trades, ongoing interest building, coming to and forging ahead with more and more collaborative trades, and without any intermediaries, without any, I mean, less of human intervention. There will be human intervention in the back with the hindsight. And the thing is that where you would want your project to be distinct, identifiable with novel ideas, and so with greater context window, with more bigger prompting, with questions, answers can be the entire answers, entire and the script can be put into the context window to get newer insights into, with newer dives into, with better perspective, understanding of the issues, and with more researchers in the medical world, with lots of new inventions and discoveries, and also trying to get to the bottom of the intricacies of nanotechnology. I mean, DNA mapping, and tackling with those frontiers which have so far held, beyond the capabilities of ordinary labs. So labs will be more robust, more modern, and so I'm not surprised that AI has been adjudged or has earned the name of the person of the year or the AI infrastructure. So most of the countries, I mean, in fact, most of the countries have their own infrastructure development, including our country. India has tied up with AI and has tied up with Google, and Google is investing into. In Texas, they have large data centers. Apart from the Tesla, Elon Musk, his own ventures with. Also, there have been lots of buzz about Google, Apple Intelligence going to the same domain. But what remains the indisputable or beyond doubt that infrastructure is going to stay. It's going to affect all facets, all frontiers, all aspects, all domains of not only day-to-day life, but also business world and also the educational landscape, the research fields, and it's not going to spare anything, other than like it's going to be mixed reality form, like glasses. The Google is coming over with real-time translations and paving the way for. I mean, Meta has been into it with its own. So let's see, 26 is going to bring about. It's a harbinger of greater, more flexible, more adaptable, and more global AI literacy, bringing into on the scene of commoners, because already 10% of the entire population is using ChatGPT. So no, so it's no surprise that it's going to stay the same way, at least. Not if not, it's as a flipping or frog leaping or jump. But it's a jumped multifolds, and I have experience in my own case that it started with the humble beginning of an early adopter. Now it's all around, and it's institutions is coming with own frameworks, own statutes, and every government has to look into this. So any government which is not diving into this abyss, or not trying to get the pulse of this ocean of intelligence, that's far. That's a distant, not so distant, in fact. So I don't need to talk about all the cataclysmic, transformative and transitional changes that are in the offing and is going to affect the entire universe so shortly. Like Elon Musk says that in 5 10 years we won't have to even work with these robots all around, and the number of robots going to exceed the number of people. That means each of us will have at least a robot to assist at home, as a domestic servant, as a assistant, as a companion, as a. So anyway, I mean, I'm not brushing over there is still a stark contrast between what he vouches and what he looks at, or Western Hemisphere and Eastern Hemisphere, and those advanced nations or developing nations. Or there is a world of difference between. So human labor still will be valued, and including where human touch, human interventions, and where actual human beings can play an effective role with empathy and problem solving, resolving all those. Moreover, I'm not a votary of too much of reliance on technology in our real life, as far as we can avoid and be self-reliant in our, like, in living in communion with, in the lap of nature, trying to address our basic needs and concerns, and be happy, and seeking pleasure in day-to-day mundane banal activities, other than trying to explore the other planets. Our planet is still, it's so beautiful, lovely, still not so ravaged that we say goodbye to it and move on to. Anyway, I don't want to conjecture or bring about a rosy or dismal picture of what's in the offing, but AI deserves to be the person of the year 2025, and it's almost closing, and it already have a dent, and it already made a mark, an indelible mark in the life of all of us, including we. educators and practitioners and technology enthusiasts. So we are the beneficiary of many of these. Thank you so much for being with the celebration of the year.